Aren't you glad to be back? It's gonna be cold next week.
Cold this week.
Are we up and running? Okay, it is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. We'll call a meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I added that in last week because you weren't here. Just so everybody knows, this is Groundhog Day, so we will be repeating this entire meeting again at the end of the first one. And then if we feel good, we'll repeat it again.
Well, we're done by 11:30 because I got another meeting.
Well, we're,
Sorry.
okay. Minutes and reports received and filed.
Yes, the January 2021 recorder's fees were filed.
Commissioner Committee liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
We got the Economic Development Transition Committee meeting at 11:30. Cole County Extension meeting Thursday. Eastside Business Association, I think it's a Zoom meeting Friday. I think that's about it for now. I'll let you have the ham and bean advertisement.
How about some of your barbecue tickets for the 28th at Wardsville?
Yeah, drive through,
Yeah.
drive by.
Yeah, okay, Harry.
Cole County Communities on Thursday, and then I think you have volunteered me for shot patrol or on Friday.
Well, no, I asked Christy if they needed us. I mean, if we will gladly come out and do whatever you tell us to do Friday if you need us.
We have a meeting tomorrow with the National Guard at 11. After that, we will know if we need any volunteers.
Okay.
I think
I
we
will-
will not, but we might need a couple.
Harry and I, and we'll come out and if you need us.
Perfect.
That's what I have.
Okay. Tomorrow, we've got a meeting with Senator Burns Scudder. Thursday's communities. Then at 10 a.m., there's the press WebEx that we do weekly, which really gives you a lot of good information on what's going on in the community with our health partners. So that's good. I do want to bring up, we have our meetings on Monday too. Our hospital counts are way, way low. Cap Region had 6 to 7, and St. Mary's had 0 inpatients on Monday. So I think that is fantastic. Friday's our vaccination clinic, 8 to 4. Monday morning, we've got our health care WebEx again. That's all I've got. Commission comments upcoming. I think we've got care, we've got BKD on there. I think we will deviate and do the care part since.
Julie? Morning.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
So, happy Groundhog Day. Yeah, hopefully you all will have a great day. And
Well, we're going to do this again at 11.
exactly. So, just to touch base, I know we're kind of winding things down, and Teresa's going to go through the balance of where we are as of today and any other funding recommendations you all may know about. We are going through the January reporting, and I believe you may be aware that everything is in compliance with the state, and so while I think we know the goal is not to continue on through June, you do have that flexibility if something were to come up and you needed, if there were funds available to spend, so you have until June 30th to spend the remainder of the funds. Also, Teresa's going to be finalizing the HHS reporting in February. We've got some state questions that we'll be responding to support Debbie and Kristen. And then as it relates to our budget to actual, we've got about $10,000 left. So, I think we're gonna be right on track or maybe slightly under in terms of our budget. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Teresa.
Thank you, Julie. So first thing, I'm just gonna go through the funding recommendations. Pretty small today. This is just your emergency expenditures out of one of your general fund accounts. Just some cleaning supplies, some COVID testing, some technology and supplies like paper and toner for that vaccination distribution, and then just some PPE. That all totals $2,664.
We just need to approve them today then.
Yeah, so that'll be for our January reporting. We have to report
Right.
that we've spent that, so we need you to approve those.
Okay, I'm good. Y'all fine with it?
I'm fine, yes.
Make a motion to approve D-10-14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So as Kristen said, that was for the January reporting. That is going to be due 2/9, I believe that's next Tuesday. I think we have pretty much everything. I think I'm just waiting on one thing from Kristen, and we can get that done this week. So I don't see any problems getting that turned in. Again, like Julie said, we got the confirmation that you'll have that extension, that everything is filed with the state as of December 31st, so that extension is good. The HHS reporting, it's still only in registration mode right now, so we're still waiting for that portal to open to be able to go ahead and do that filing. We're not sure exactly what that's gonna look like just yet. They haven't given us a lot of information, so hopefully they get that up and running soon. The response to the state questions, Kristen responded to some of those, I believe, last Friday, I wanna say, so we should be good with them for now. And Julie already touched on the budget. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had. With the allocation left over, I have you at 158,460. That doesn't include today's approval, so somewhere in the 156 range there. We did add back in the Historical Society. We had taken that out, but they went ahead and you guys approved that last time we talked, so we did include that in all the applications that have been approved, so.
Teresa, do we need to talk about Salvation Army and then possibly?
Oh, yes, thank you, I forgot about that. So Salvation Army got back with me last week, and they still had approximately 6,000, I think. Kristen, you might have that in front of you, I don't have it in front of me, left to expense. So if you remember that you guys approved 25,000 for them, they only were able to get in about 10,000 before that December 15th deadline, but the county went ahead and cut the check for the 25,000, the full 25,000, and you guys approved an extension since the state gave you that extension until June to get that spent until January 31st, but they were only able to get an additional, I think, 8,000 or so. So they still have 6,000, I think 6,300 left to spend. So either you guys will have to give them an additional extension, or you'll ask them to return those funds to you.
I would extend it. I mean, aren't they using it to,
They're doing rent assistance,
Yeah,
and utility assistance.
I think,
And I've been emailing back and forth with them. I think the issue is they're just having a little trouble getting the correct documentation that they told us they would get before. So they're just trying to get that documentation. So I think they probably could get it spent in another month. But again, it's up to you whether to give them that opportunity.
Have they requested an extension?
Yeah, they said if they didn't have an extension, they would send it back. But if they got the extension, they could spend it.
So how long did they request?
They did not have a date. I would suggest another month, but again, up to you.
So we'll have another reporting package that's due the end of February. If you want to give them through February to finish that up, and anything that they haven't spent as of February 28th, they have to return to the county.
Or we can do another extension at that point,
Right.
Yeah,
so. I'm good with however we wanna do it. If we wanna put a drop dead date, that's fine, otherwise I'd just say, let's try to get it by the end of this month and
Okay.
we can revisit it then.
or we could just go till the end of March and not have to revisit it.
I would do end of February.
Okay, do end of, whatever you say.
A motion is in order.
Yes.
Motion to extend the Salvation Army's expenditure date through February 28.
Second.
All in favor?
28th.
Aye.
Aye.
Sure, right.
Okay,
February 30th?
Okay, I will make them aware of that extension, and hopefully they're able to get those, that documentation they need for those last few people, so, that's all I had, Julie.
you need a big Chiefs banner behind you.
Sorry.
I'm really,
I know, I've got it
I'm-
over here, I've got
I'm-
it over
I'm-
I would
here.
hide it too.
That's just not behind me. I know, I'm
I'm
super
sorry.
stoked.
There's 32 teams and I don't like 31 of
See if they
them.
can do it.
The only other thing I was gonna point out is, obviously we're paying attention to the stimulus bucks that are going on in Washington. As soon as we have a little bit more clarity, it looks like there will be additional funding for state and local governments as it relates to, right now it looks like, vaccination, testing, public employees, police, fire, kind of similar to what we've seen before. So we'll continue to watch that, and as soon as we have a little bit more clarification, as we send out bulletins, we'll make sure to keep you in the loop. And with that, I guess I would just ask if you have any questions for us.
This might be maybe not a BKD question, but more of an internal one. But I thought we had really spent down a lot further than the 158. Do we have?
We've spent down to 87,000 is about what we have left. But those haven't actually been spent. They've been approved, but
Okay.
not spent yet.
So 87 is sort of what's left in the bucket.
Right,
All
right.
okay.
And that will fluctuate slightly. We have a few applications from previous that we did not spend the whole amount, so we will reallocate a little bit of that as well. I think there are a few that we're wrapping up from prior to end of the year that were not spent fully, so that number will fluctuate slightly.
I saw Adam Brown from Centertown in this morning bringing a small payment back that they didn't expend.
Yes.
Right, those kind of things.
Yes.
Okay. You have any-
Anything else?
No, I don't have anything.
Nope,
I don't think so.
All right, y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Go
thank
Chiefs.
you.
Go Chiefs.
Take care, bye-bye.
Okay. Christie, is the only thing you've got on the agenda the approval and sign in the PHEP agreement with Osage County?
Yes.
Why don't we do you?
Sure.
Because you have places to go, and Eric, he's just,
Okay. Sorry, Eric. You can take my jury duty for me.
I think we can get you out of that.
2 months.
We'll write you a
okay.
note.
So this is just an agreement with Osage County. They had had some turnover with staff, so they're asking if we could assist them by doing their public health emergency preparedness contract. Chris will work on that. It won't exceed 32 hours a month, and we will be reimbursed at $27 an hour.
I make a motion to approve the PHEP agreement, sign and approve the PHEP agreement with Osage County Health Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to give an update on COVID and on the Friday clinic before you leave, or?
Sure.
I-
Do you want me to just talk, or do you have specific questions?
Pardon?
So do you want me to just talk, or do you have
Just
specific
talk, I
questions?
don't,
So our positive case numbers in Cole County have been a lot lower. November was pretty much our peak, and it's decreased since then. I think last week we had a high day of 34, a low day of 16, but right around 20 positive cases are being reported to us every day. The hospital numbers are very, very low. Like Sam was saying earlier, Cap Region had like 6 to 8 last week average, and then yesterday St. Mary's reported that they had zero COVID patients in the hospital, which is great news, really great news. So I feel like as a community we're doing very well. We probably need to talk about when we want to go ahead and roll that advisory back that's still in effect, because our cases are very low. I think we could probably do that if you want to set a time like February 15th or March 1st. We want to think about that. But as long as our cases are staying low and our vaccinations are going up, I think it's okay to go ahead and roll that back. I did do the city talk at the city council meeting last night, and I pointed out that I think we have a total of 7,445 positive cases that have been reported in Cole County since last March. And in Cole County, we've already given 7,955 doses of vaccine. So we're already giving more doses of vaccine than we've had positive cases reported to us. So I thought that was pretty good.
How many of those doses were to Cole County residents? Do you know?
So I think that is the number of Cole County residents. That question was asked on the meeting last night. So on that MoStops COVID or covidvaccine.mo.gov website, they have a new vaccine dashboard, and I think it is reported by county of residence. So some of those are first doses and some of those are second doses, but I'm pretty sure it's county of residence, because that's the way they report everything else. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. We've already exceeded that number. We're giving vaccine at the health department every week as much as we can. We didn't get our allocation this week, so we got no vaccines. We still had some left over from last week, and then our hospital group is working really well together, and we're redistributing as we can. Yesterday, DHSS did announce that new vaccine allocation strategy, so they're going to target high distribution centers in the state. They wanted people that could do more than 5,000 a week. So for Region F, on weeks A, MU will get doses, and on weeks B, Cap Region and St. Mary's will get doses, but they're only, I think, getting 2,000. So I'm not sure how they want you to distribute 5,000 if you're only getting 2,000, but yeah, it's math. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but and part of it is just because there's not enough vaccine coming into the state. So the majority of the doses will go to those high distribution centers. There will be some, I think about 6,000 doses a week in the state will go to places like FQHCs and clinics, and then about 6,000 will go to local public health agencies. So there's 114 local public health agencies, and between 114, there's only 6,000 doses to be given out. So not very many. So like I said, we didn't get any doses this week, but we're gonna, between what we have left over from last week and redistributing from the other places in town, we'll have enough to do the appointments we have scheduled, and hopefully we'll get more on Tuesday. I think that we're going to continue to order Pfizer because that's what we started with. I think the dose that the hospitals are going to start getting is Moderna.
Yeah, that's what MU, I think, is getting 4,000.
Right.
And it's all going to be Moderna.
Yeah, and
so.
Cap Region and St. Mary's will get it on the weeks that MU does it. So supposedly they're saying that the volume will increase in March. This week A and B is for February. We did get our freezers ordered. The alarm, I think I was going to tell you it's going to be a little bit more expensive because the normal ones go to negative 58 and it needs to go to negative 70.
Where's the link at for the vaccine dashboard thing? Is that on our site?
No, it's on that MoStops COVID or covidvaccine.mo.gov. MoStopsCovid.com.
The other thing is on our counts, I was talking to him pre-site, we get the two penal institutions are counted in hours, and I was talking to her about how our numbers don't quite jive with DHSS, and she said their numbers don't jive either.
And just remember,
the nursing homes,
right.
Again, we don't do anything, but then they add them to us, so it's...
And just remember, when we add deaths to our website, that doesn't mean that people died that day in Cole County because of COVID. It means that DHSS reanalyzed the death certificates and sent us a report saying that we had more COVID deaths. So that doesn't, and sometimes they're from 2 months ago.
Yeah, we
They're not
had
necessarily
7
from that
deaths,
day.
and we only had like 13 in both
Right.
hospitals
Right.
last week. We had
And you were
7
like,
deaths,
how is
and
that
I'm going,
possible?
so did half of our people in the
No,
hospitals
no, they could be
die?
from
And it's like, no.
2 months ago.
It's-
So the event on Friday at the link is the National Guard will be coming in to help like direct traffic, do some logistics. They don't provide vaccinators. You know, the testing events, the National Guard kind of comes in and does everything and they leave. The vaccinating events are not like that. They don't bring vaccinators along. They don't bring the people that have to dilute the vaccine and draw it up. You know, it comes in vials. So we have to draw up all the vaccine, which takes a long time. You know, you typically get 6 doses per vial. So it takes a long time to draw up 2,000 syringes of vaccine. So they have pharmacists that will be doing that. Each of the organizations have staff that are working. We have Lincoln nursing students helping. We had, you know, over 6,000 people on our list that had registered on our website, and we decided to kind of target this event to those over 65, and Central Bank volunteered to be a great partner and call all those people for us and schedule the appointments. And it was interesting because so far they've called over 3,500 people, and about 1,000 had already got the vaccine somewhere else. So we know that people are on multiple lists. And we had some people call on Monday and say, you can take me off the list for Friday. JCMG called over the weekend and I was able to get in. So it's really great news that there's multiple events going on in the county. We're not the only game in town. You know, there's a lot of places where people can get on list and get vaccines. So we're still referring people to get on their doctor's list first.
Did we have some Cole County citizens that drifted up to Audrain County over the?
I don't know. I would imagine they would.
And
yeah.
so they'll show up on the dashboard when they process that through?
Yes. And say something to keep in mind for Friday and for all of it is every dose of COVID vaccine that's given has to be put into ShowMeVax, the state's database, within 24 hours of being given. So that's where they're getting the numbers for that dashboard. And then that's how CDC knows that we're giving the vaccine in order to give us more. So that data piece is very important.
And some of them are already in the 3-week second dose. And is there any concern on your part that the second dose will or won't be here in time for the 21 days after the first dose?
So
how does that work?
They've been telling us that in the allocations that we receive, those are the first doses, and the second doses, they hold back and send those to us separately. It's even shipped kind of on a different day and kind of targeted as the second dose. And so, like when we got first doses redistributed us from St. Mary's, you know, they're even like, oh, we owe you this because that's the second doses.
Okay.
So the vaccine orders are really good about knowing first and second doses and making sure that those are there. Seems like I had one more thing I was going to say.
I guess on the advisory, just let us know, does that have like, you know, you got a tornado warning, so the conditions are right, so we got the advisory.
Right.
Do you drop it down to something, COVID-19 watch or something?
Yeah. It's the alert,
Or
yeah.
you just,
Do we need to talk to the city since our advisories mirror each other?
Well, yeah, they adopted ours, so I'd say that if we feel like the time is right to lift it, we probably should let them know.
Okay.
But I feel that, you know, that I would hope that things are only going to get better from here. So,
okay, just let us know.
okay.
Yeah, I think our numbers, it's amazing, and
Well, and, you know, we kind of did everything from the beginning to be able to let our healthcare system have the space and the ability to take care of sick patients, and our healthcare system is doing very well. They're not overwhelmed, obviously, and they're not strained, so
even
our case numbers
Columbia
are very low.
hospitals
that's what I
now
was saying
are
about
on
Columbia.
green.
Right, yeah.
Because, again, they don't have the COVID patients, so they're back to, you don't want to say normal, but they're back to the green level where, so it's
The whole state is doing very well.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I was going to mention was at the health department, Cole County Health Department, we have been giving vaccines to people from other counties because it is a federal and state resource that's given to us. But we know that some other health departments are only vaccinating people who live or work in that county, but we have not been doing that.
we won't mention Boone County.
Right.
No.
Any other questions? Anybody else?
No,
I have
but,
a quick one while you're here. Bucket Media.
and we got a
Itemized.
a statement with.
Are you guys good with paying that, and do you want it to come out of the remaining CARES funding?
So what do we have, 75,000 for them, 25 for the creative part, and 50 for advertising?
Yeah, and they billed 4,800.
So,
Yeah,
did they do $4,800 worth of work besides?
They have an hourly or itemized billing behind here.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, they had put together a proposal. I don't know how many hours that takes. but-
I think it's fair.
And out of CARES?
Why wouldn't we do it out of CARES?
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Right, I reviewed the billing or
But
the,
originally, you had put it in our budget. In the health department, it wasn't in CARES.
Oh, that's
We were
right.
holding off and waiting for the extension of time.
Oh, that's right.
So it was
Okay.
in limbo there at the end of the year, and then we canceled the contract before we actually,
Had to make the decision.
yeah.
I see.
I think
So
that,
what
the
did we get out of it? For 4,800?
We got the proposal that we decided not to go with.
I don't mind paying them something for the time, but that just seems,
we told them to go to work, right? And then we told them to stop working.
Right.
And when they stopped working, they had incurred about 48
800.
hours
Yes,
so,
at $100.
at $100. So I don't think the fact that we told them to stop and now we say, well, what did we get for it? Well, we got them to go to work, is what we got for it.
for $4,800 though, we should have some kind of media plan or some kind of account plan or some kind of, they could at least took their crayons out and drew a picture for us, because I got how many hours spent on creative, it says, so what
Right,
did
they
we get
had-
for that, what did we get for media planning?
They had those 3 commercial ideas, strategies. They came up with like 3 slogans and logos, and we kind of picked one of them, but then we decided at the time to not go with any of them. So they did have 3 plans that they reviewed with the small working group in a meeting, but we had decided to not pursue that, obviously because things change so much.
yeah, and it's changed even more.
I know, we had talked about doing
So-
a vaccine campaign with them, but the way the information changes now,
Yeah, it's,
we just, yeah, it's too late.
Yeah.
It would be too late by the time they got anything developed.
so I'm fine
So
with,
what else were they gonna do then for the other 20,000?
They were gonna pay for, I think, the radio ads, TV ads. They were
The ads
gonna,
were part of the 50,000 though, I thought. I thought they had 75,000 budget, right?
mhm,
25 was gonna be for
development.
creative part and 50 was gonna be the advertising. So
Maybe the 25 was part of
for 25 for
development.
advertising, we should have at least got some nice brochures or something. I
They
just
didn't
think
get that
it's-
far.
I just
We
think it's
stopped it.
too high. I don't disagree with paying them for doing something, and we've got their hours and such. So-
I'd compare it to hiring an attorney and tell him to go to work and then firing the attorney and say, what, you're fired, what'd you do for me? Well, I researched, I sat down, I came up with a plan. You owe me for the time that I worked. And they're giving us evidence of the time they worked. I don't think we should expect to have half an ad or a tenth of an ad because of this. We told them to go to work, they did. We said stop. That's what we owe them.
I think so too.
Does it take
So,
a motion to pay for this?
No, I just need a direction.
Well-
So
I-
we'll take it out of CARES.
I'm fine with paying it. Gary's fine.
I don't know, they've got hours on here, and then what are they charging us per hour?
It's $100 an hour.
So, that's what amounts to $100 an hour for.
48
no matter who
hours.
did it. If they had somebody, account management, they had somebody email us our bill, so they're gonna bill us for 0.3 hours and at $100 an hour, so. I don't know if y'all still think it's fair, I think we're being give here. I agree with paying them for something, even my attorney, if I hire them for a law and then they tell me, look, you're fighting a lost cause here, we need to stop, and I say, okay, let's stop, I'll pay for their time, I agree, but at least I had some kind of answer from them. So I think it's a decent analogy, but I think it's different.
I just don't feel like getting into a pissing match over that amount. I mean, I'm just say pay it.
I'm fresh from a week's vacation. I'm ready.
I know, I thought you're supposed to be all rested and.
So if you two are good.
Harry,
you
you're
guys are two
okay, right?
okays.
I am, and
I'm
I,
okay, so
yep.
just pay it. Christie, thank you.
Thanks, Christie.
Christie's
Sorry,
been
guys.
great, I'll tell you. Our medical alliance has been fantastic too. I've never seen hospitals and JCMG and community health center, it's the greatest team. So, okay, we will go back to bids and contracts. Bid award for 2021-01 road materials.
You want to do it? No, you're fine. For 2021-01 road materials, we had 4 vendors submit RFPs. Our recommendation is to award the lowest and best near the work site with availability.
You good with it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, before it's pulled up, there's nothing weird on it. You get to review it.
I think so. Yeah, and I'm good with it.
Okay. Make a motion, we approve lowest, and how'd you have that worded, Stephanie?
Lowest and best bid near work site with available materials. It's at the very bottom of that spreadsheet.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
See it?
All right, make a motion, we award to the lowest and best bid near the website with available material.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Stephanie? Okay, bid award for 2021-03 mosquito spray materials.
For 2021-03, we had 3 vendors submit RFPs, and our recommendation is to award the lowest and the best in each category with available material.
Good.
Yep.
Make a motion, we award the lowest and best bid in each category with available material.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bid award for 2021-04 vegetation spray materials.
For 2021-04, we only received 1 RFP with Nutrient Ag Solutions, and our recommendation is to go with them.
Good. Good. Make a motion, we award the vegetation spray materials to Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bid award for 2021-05 leased equipment.
For 2021-05, we had 4 vendors submit RFPs, and our recommendation is to go with the lowest and best bid in each category with availability.
Kinda good with it? You keep running?
Keep running, you're doing good.
Make a motion to award the lowest and best bid in each category with available equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval and signing of cartograph software and services contract.
I presented to you a few weeks ago in a commission meeting about additional CARES funding items that we had. When working on getting cartograph set up, we realized that we had left out the stormwater asset that we need to build the system. And so this is just the contract addendum to add in that extra cost. I told you at the time the upfront implementation cost for the stormwater asset was $2,600, and so that amount is in the contract. There's also $3,446.08 that is part of the yearly subscription cost to maintain the program, and so that will be an ongoing cost. So we'll have to add that much money into the budget. We've done the budget transfer. Debbie had you sign. So the CARES would be the $2,600. The additional would come out of our budget. So I'd request approval of this contract with the condition that Jill would review some terms in the agreement.
On the internet, it didn't work, so I contacted the lady, our account person, and she said that.
So you would approve the contract contingent upon Jill's signature and review.
Motion to approve the cartograph software and services contract addendum upon approval of our attorney.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval and signing of agreement for professional engineering services.
So this is for our stormwater management program assistance. We hired Christina Lubert Engineering back in 2016 to help us draft an ordinance to work on our stormwater management plan. Additional assistance as needed with our stormwater management program, which is something that's mandated by EPA through the Clean Water Act. Missouri Department of Natural Resources is responsible for regulating that, managing that for the counties and cities and whatnot throughout the state. Our knowledge, technical knowledge in this specific field is a little light, just because it's pretty in-depth and pretty specific. There's a lot of requirements to keep in line with what DNR requires. Christina Lubert's very experienced in this and primarily does that through her engineering practice. So we worked with her over the past few years, kind of had about a 2-year lull, got back into it this past fall. Still had some money left in the original contract. Once we got a little closer towards the end of the year, realized that we needed to do a new contract so we'd have more funds. She's going to help us draft and finalize this ordinance. Also work with updating our stormwater management plan, work through the re-permitting process with DNR, as well as anticipated audit from DNR that we're going to have this year. So the cost is $19,500, and it covers, like I said, a lot of different things. Also training, assistance with various things for staff, including myself and the new to be county engineer. So I'd recommend approval of this agreement, like I said, in the amount of $19,500 with Lubert Engineering. Is there any questions?
No, I'm good.
Again, we had to do a budget transfer. We have $10,000 in stormwater in the 211 budget. We had about 8,900 or so in there. Want to keep a little funds in there to account for permitting costs and different miscellaneous things related to stormwater. So we asked for a $15,000 budget transfer for that. So any questions about anything? As you said, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve the agreement with professional engineering services in the amount of $19,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Engineering services, stormwater management program assistance, signing of strategic capital consulting agreement.
And I've changed that technical calculation.
Jeff, I don't know if you were in on the changing of the, you might say the buyer here from Cole County to Cole County Commission. You know, almost each of our elected officials are part of associations that have their own lobbyists and who represent them. So, and I looked at some other lobbyist contracts, maybe even some that Strategic Capital had with other counties, and either there or somewhere else I noticed that the contracts were with the county to represent the county commission as opposed to the county. So that was the only change that's popped up here from what we've previously discussed.
That's the lobbyist part of it?
Yes. So having said that, I would make a motion to execute the contract with Strategic Capital Consulting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's through 6 months, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Guess I should have asked that before I said aye.
Signing the Marco Equipment Maintenance Agreement for the Sheriff's Department.
These are two printers, copiers that we bought in February of last year. We just overlooked in signing the maintenance agreement for it. So it'll save us a bunch of money.
I think you would.
Brian found it, it's his fault. I know, yes.
Oh, he just asked.
My computer will go down again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the equipment maintenance agreement with Marco for the Sheriff's Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. License agreement for CVSA.
So this is an end user agreement for our CVSA system we just bought. By the way, I didn't get a sticker for it. But anyway, it's a CVSA, it's a computer voice stress analyzer system. We already have one. This is an updated one. We bought it about 8 years ago. So this is the new one that we have, and we're just an end user agreement that needs to be signed for it.
Are there dollars that go with this?
It's already been, we've already paid for it. It was underneath the amount, so I was able to pay for it out of my funds, but this is just a user agreement that needs to be signed.
Okay. Motion to sign the end user license agreement for CVSA software.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm gonna go make a copy.
Okay. Do we have any unfinished business? Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
We don't have any this week.
Okay. We did the CARES Act. Do we have any signing of subrecipient agreements?
No.
Gosh, we're moving. Signing of engagement letter with Williams Keepers.
So every year before the annual audit, we sign an engagement letter. It outlines our duties during the audit versus William Keeper's duties. Here's a copy for the audit we are getting ready to start.
There. You're going to abstain, aren't you? Okay.
Okay. All right, I make a motion we sign the engagement letter with Williams Keepers. Sam.
I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Okay.
That one just gets your signature again.
Okay.
Where did it-
Midmo Regional Planning Commission matching funds request.
I think, Harry, you put this on there. Midmo Regional Planning had requested earlier that we set aside $12,500 for their matching grant program. They have sent an updated letter that is requesting a smaller amount because they are reapplying for a lesser amount. I don't have that letter with me.
Help me out with history here. Is this a repetition of things that we've done before?
So they came and asked before. It was $25,000 that they had asked for us and the chamber to come together to set aside for an application that they were doing for a grant. We agreed and we had set aside that $12,500. I don't think that grant went through. They are now reapplying for a smaller amount and asking for us to still match funds, but it is a lesser amount on our end as well.
Make a motion to sign the reduced matching funds agreement.
And there's a letter somewhere. I don't have it printed out. I know you sent it to me.
It's attached to the agenda.
Is there one attached to the agenda?
I didn't.
I think that letter needs to be signed.
Well, I opened it up just a second ago. Yep. You want me to print? There's Debbie getting it.
And what's the amount this time, Jeff? Is it 7,000?
7254.
the reduced amount and the amount, reduced amount of $72.54.
Did we?
No, I didn't second it. I wasn't crazy about it before, and still, I don't know, I guess I don't understand it as much, and maybe that's part of why I'm not necessarily for it, so.
Okay, you made the
Wanna keep it
motion.
going.
Right.
I will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Nay.
Okay. Okay, those are matching letters. Jail valves replacement.
So Greg sent me an email saying that there's $14,000 in valves that need to be replaced. Yeah, mine is $65. So he sent me an email, so I asked, jail staff reached out, and he said it's, well, he didn't say anything. So I sent an email with these 8 questions. So the valve for all the pods in medical, I assume they're water since they're leaking. How these valves have been broken, they just started to leak, that's cool. Are there more of these valves throughout the facility? He says there's 20 hot and cold lines. I don't know if we need to replace 20 or not. I never got that reply. He gave me a quote from Summit Mechanical. They are not on contract. Are there parts on contract? They are not. How much electrical work costs? That's on contract, so he can give me that cost. And then will this cause a shutdown? Maybe. But we'll see. And then will this cause a shutdown of service to the pods? And that's yes. So basically, I have no information for you because it's not being communicated. So I don't know what we need to do. But we have some bad valves. That's about it.
So we don't really know what,
There's bad valves.
okay.
So we got some leaks too. He came up and talked about it a little bit this morning, but
The problem is he's not communicating. It's this passive aggressive stuff. So he needs to communicate with my jail staff. If they're gonna be shutting down pods and stuff, we need to know about that. If there are leaky, I mean, just like with this contingent offer, the contingency is what I'm gonna have to buy this out of. But I don't know how much the valves are gonna cost me, because what he gave me is not been bid out. So I don't know how much it's gonna be for electrical, so I can't even come to you and tell you that I need some money, because if we have to replace all 20 of them, right? These are 4 valves that he's talking about for 14,000. So if we have to replace all 20 of them, that's gonna be quite a bit of money. There's gotta be more communication.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not something that just came up. I've addressed this before.
So I will talk to Greg and try to get some prices and,
And when my staff reaches out, he needs to reply to them. And we can do it by email. I'm good with that. Matter of fact, I'd rather have email, because then there's no misunderstanding on what was said. So, and I've directed my staff from now on to send emails directly to him to get answers on what's going on.
I don't mind being CC'd on them either, so we know what's going on over there.
Absolutely.
So,
You want all 3 of you to be
I mean, it's-
CC'd, or just you, Jeff?
all 3 of us.
yeah, I don't think it
Yeah.
hurts for all of us to be in the loop and
No.
know what's going on, because we're gonna start having things happen over there with it being, how old is it now?
But it's,
10,
yeah, we've
11
been,
years old.
when you figure it's old, I mean, we've been using it for 10 years. It's been installed for probably 11, if you really think about it. And then those parts sat in a warehouse for a little bit, so.
Yeah. Okay, I will,
So are the valves of the ones on their actual sinks, or are they?
So these are the valves, if I understand correctly, because that's why they have to have electrical on it. These are the valves that we control from satellite control. So if they try to flood the cells or something, we hit a button and shut the water off, right? So we need it. And if it's leaking, we need them replaced. But we just need to know information of, well, it's leaking, we gotta replace it.
Okay, valves that have been in places for years and years and years, so I'm just, I don't know, surprised these are already leaking.
Well, they're specialized valves, so they're computer, I mean, because it's all ran by computer, so I'm sure they don't want to make them too good, so they can replace them at $14,000 for 4 of them, so I'm sure that has nothing to do with it.
For 14,000, they ought to be made out of gold.
Well,
So. Guess he's getting some price on some of them.
I don't
So-
know.
And you should be able to shut the water off to certain pods to where you can work on them individually, and you may shut one pod off or whatever, but.
You would think that, but that, again, that information hasn't been relayed to me, or my staff.
I thought you were a plumber at night. Oh.
I'm what you call a dangerous electrician.
Sure. Okay.
I'm sorry, though.
Well, we'll get more
But yet
information.
they let you carry a taser.
That's right.
All right, so you're gonna check on it?
I'm gonna check, I will get with Greg as soon as we finish
Okay.
this meeting. Okay, sole source for Tyler Technologies.
So this is, we're wanting to do a sole source for Tyler Technologies. It's New World software, the same one that the our 911 PSAP is carrying. If we're able to do this, it gives us a plethora of new options that we're allowed to do. Number one is it has in-car mapping that will be able to, it will map automatically to the calls that we have. It'll also be able to, we'll be able to see on a map where all the vehicles are located, not only our staff, but dispatch will also be able to, that allows for for us to be able to get in on a call and enter our disposition directly into the, too much coffee, directly into the call, so that way it's a more fluid and a better way to handle those. And again, since 911, the dispatch already has it, that means our GIS is already integrated into the system, so that we're not really missing out on anything.
This is just approve the sole source advertising for it, or is this
Yes, sir.
approve the purchase
No, this is sole source advertising.
advertising?
We're still working with them to make sure. We actually got a price of 20. Yeah, but it was even, I think it's lower than that now, isn't it? I think the new one came out to like 26,000, but 29 is what they're asking. No, that's right, it's 29,000. And I put $30,000 down on the budget. But that gives us 37 licenses for all of my vehicles, all that carry an MDT. And all our equipment is compatible because we had this at one point, but all of our equipment is compatible. So. And I've been talking with Brian too. We've been talking, as a matter of fact, we talked just yesterday about this. So he's aware of everything that I'm doing.
Okay,
Yep.
Motion to approve the sole source advertising for Tyler Technology.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Greg, you're here, so what about the valves?
First of all, we're not done with getting all prices for the electrical. I've got two companies still to come in and give me prices on electrical. Was not expecting this to be on today's agenda, so I can give you more information. This might need to go closed, so I can name some people's names.
So the email I sent you says, Greg, I put the valves on the commission agenda for Tuesday on an open meeting. So saying that I
I've
didn't
been
know
busy,
about it.
John. I've got short staff still. I'm trying to do the best I can right now with what staff I've got. And people keep applying stuff on me. I am doing what I can. I'm talking to Jordy every day about this stuff. Jordy is supposed to be relating to Vance and Tim down there in the jail. I don't know if he's not doing it or not, okay?
So it's Jordy's fault, okay.
I'm not blaming Jordy. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't care whose fault it is. But we've got to get back on the same page. I've tried to keep a good working relationship with you and your staff. Every time you call, I've been accommodated to you guys. If I haven't, let me know.
I have let you know, Greg. I told you before about the passive aggressive, when my guys call you and you said, I'll either come in or I won't, to the point that I've told my staff now to call you on recorded lines.
Fine.
So I don't want to hear this, that you don't know about it or anything. This has been coming.
Have I not come in every time you call?
Eventually, yes.
I thought when I get there, I can get there.
That's not what you're saying, Greg. We've talked about this. It's the passive aggressive stuff that you're putting up with, and I don't deal with passive aggressive, man. Either you help us and you do the job, and you communicate with us, or don't do the job. I'll find somebody else that can.
Well, now that we're all getting together, getting along just fine. So, can you find more information out, and then if you get behind on it or whatever, or you're just waiting on something, just email John and his staff, and in your defense, I know you're busy and shorthanded, and in John's defense, we need to communicate a little better, so let's just work on that. Either that, or we'll meet at 5 o'clock after work tonight down at the local pub, and I'll just watch y'all fight it out. I don't know.
No, I believe doing.
No,
There you go, see?
we need,
Everybody's
we
getting
need,
along.
we need to be working
Ready to
together.
hug.
So
Maybe not.
get prices and get back to us.
We'll sit around the fire and sing Kumbaya.
Okay.
That's the only words I know.
Okay. While you're here, John, you talked about 911. I received from the city of Jefferson, their letter for our share of the 911 system. We pay 25% of the share. It's our share. It's $294,699.60. Our share is $73,667.40. And it's, talking to Kristen, it's budgeted, but
Yeah.
is that,
In the way I think Matt and I, or the way the commission has divided that up is, since it was 3/4 of the calls came from me, so I paid for 3/4 and he paid for 1/4 of ours, but I think we need to look at it now, because I think Matt's numbers are up, so he can
Okay.
pay a little bit more.
okay, I got this in the mail. It was on my desk this morning, so
Okay.
it's budgeted, so I don't think,
When you get a chance, gotta get a copy of that.
no.
So
Please,
when
please.
you all get dispatched, then are they still on the radio with y'all talking to you? Because the ones that come to us for EMS goes to us, and then we're dispatching, and it's basically out of their hands.
So look, we're in contact with them all the time, that is correct. But, and there are some times that dispatch stays with EMS, depending on what the call is. I mean, if it's a more integrated call, if there's more to do with it, then they do stay on the call a little bit longer. But the fact of the matter is, what we're paying for is calls for service. That's what it comes down to. So if they're answering a call and forwarding it to EMS, you just have to go by how many EMS runs he has versus how many calls I have, because mine are down. Because of COVID, I'm sure, but mine are down. So, and he was talking about his numbers were up, so.
So then who else uses the system? Is it just Cole County and
It's just
Jefferson
me.
City? Or is
Well,
there
it's-
multi-county?
It's us, EMS, and fire.
So if something's going multi-county and you got something going on, how's everybody communicating at that point?
So there's a Cole County Fire Net that all the fire districts are on and they get dispatched off of. And then there's of course EMS, and then there's Cole County, and then there's JC. So they have 4 dispatchers. One of them takes care of me and the fire department. And then if the situation occurs, if it starts getting bigger, then more dispatchers will come over and assist. So the other day, we had a robbery that occurred out in the county, but they came into the city. And because there was 2 dispatchers working on that, we were able to, JCPD was able to find the vehicle, pull it over, because we were communicating together. So it just depends on, because it's got to be fluid down there because of the call volume that comes in. And depending on the situation, we're going to get more people that will be paying attention to Cole County and the fire department, EMS, depending on what the call is. So if we have a bus overturns with and it's an accident, then we're going to have 3 of those dispatchers are going to be paying attention to Cole Fire, Cole County, and EMS, because because we're going to be getting phone calls coming in. So.
Yeah, that's what I've always tried to figure out, how we've got several different ones trying to talk, and why we can't have one, I guess, and
And there's really no easy way to do that. truthfully.
Yeah.
And if you go to any 911 center, they're set up the same way. Now, we have in, JCPD is starting to go to more Moswin radios. And then they patch us together, so depending on what's going on, they can patch us together on pursuit, so that way we can talk to each other when we're responding. So it just, it's pretty integrated in what they're doing. And Derek Heisland, down at the PD, he's done a really good job on trying to better the communications within him and Chad Stieferman and Eric Willoughby.
But right now, sheriff's deputy can't communicate directly with a PD.
Yes,
You can.
yes, we can.
Okay. What about highway patrol? They're on the most one too, right?
Yeah, they're on most one. So the highway patrol monitor us, and they'll actually get on a radio and say, like, we had an accident just yesterday, and we were responding to the accident, and one of the troopers got on our net and said, Sheriff 23, I'm over here, I can head that way too, if you need me to, I'm going to go ahead, so.
Okay.
So it just depends on what's going on. So we can't turn over to JCPD and talk to them. The PD supervisors now have Moswin and have our net, so they can get on our net and speak with us. And soon, JCPD officers will have Moswin in their cars. I say soon, within a couple of years. So they'll be able to do the same thing. They're expensive. They went up to $4,800 a pop.
That's what I was thinking. It's been a while since we revisited it, so
Yeah.
I don't want to hold this all up.
We
Ask a
actually
question
have-
about it, but
We actually have scanners in each of the patrol, in each of our cars, and we monitor JCPD, fire, and EMS. So that way, if something comes up, we can hear they're gonna need assistance, and dispatch just hasn't put it out yet, we can just start heading that way.
okay.
Yeah, well, I did that ride along with Lyle. I was impressed at 911. I thought
They do,
it was,
they do.
it was,
For all the calls that they get, because they get well over 100, probably
When you do it-
100,000 calls a year.
yes.
So this letter isn't for our 25% of the annual funding. This is a letter asking for 25% of some enhancements that they have done to the 911 system. This
Oh.
is not currently included in the budget. What's included in the budget is our 25% of their total budget. And that's what John was talking about, being split 25, 75. This is a request for additional money for projects that they have done above and beyond through their sales tax that they want us to pay 25% of. This is not currently in our budget.
Okay, so we probably need to come back on that.
Well,
My concern is that they're going all the way back to 2018.
Well, that's the implementation. You gotta remember, when you implement a CAD system, a new CAD system, so they just went to enterprise mobile. When you do that, it's not, you can't do it in a year. So
Right.
it's gonna take a long time to implement and then to build. So that's probably why they went back that far.
Did we
we-
talk about this at some point?
Yeah,
We did talk about this. Whenever they started talking about going to
If it was
enterprise.
back in 18, that's gonna be a good one to go back to find.
Well, I don't think you made a decision. I think we just conversed about it.
But I think they would be saying, okay, we're gonna wait to see if y'all are in for your 25% before we make.
Well, I
that
think they
decision.
already expended the money. I just think that they're just wanting to see if we
Cool.
would pay.
Tom, thank you.
Well,
I was
This
thinking we
is-
made some kind of an agreement at some point.
I don't remember an agreement.
I-
I know that they've come and asked for different things over the
I
course
have
of
the MOU
years,
on the
but,
regular 25%.
and we've paid other portions of upgrade to radios or
And
upgrade
that might be
to
what I'm thinking of.
things, but
Yeah, we'll probably help them with upgrades
But-
at least 3 times.
I personally would not be opposed, and this would come out of me, all of it comes from me, because this is mostly gonna be, well, actually, Matt should pay some of it too, but it depends on if he goes with, I know he just had some CAD bids, so if they go with Tyler Technologies, then it would be behooves for both of us to pay some of this, because it's an enhancement of the current system that they provide.
Kristen, did you say something about how the city pays for theirs out of sales tax?
from the top top of this memorandum, it's saying over the course of sales tax G, they have undergone several enhancements to the 911. So I'm assuming that these are enhancements that they've paid out of their sales tax, but that's just an assumption on my part.
Okay, so if that works for them, we're also finishing G at the county, aren't we? Does it make sense that it's a capital improvement?
I
It's,
think that the items listed on here would be considered capital improvements for us as well. I mean, they added a radio tower, they purchased a CAD system or upgrades to it and hardware for it.
As long as the capital is like a 5-year type of capital.
right,
Or, you know,
right. I don't know if one political subdivision defines capital different than another political subdivision. You'd think that they'd be consistent.
thing, but
Perhaps not.
So John, did they do something with Solacom in 19?
We could pull it out of anywhere,
Different
it's just
than
if
what
we
we're
agree
doing
to
now,
pay
I
it,
guess.
then we can decide what fund it comes out of, either capital improvement.
Yeah,
Yes, hold on. No, they did not upgrade to Silicon in 19,
They did?
yeah. Where's that at?
It's the text to 911 on the last page, number 3.
Oh, yeah, that's not what we're doing. We're doing, this is all mapping. What we're doing, what we did with CARES money was a mapping portion.
Okay.
So the text in 911 allows people that are deaf to able to call for 911 by doing it by over text. I assume that, I mean, that's what I think it is, but.
we could put this back on the agenda if you guys have any more questions you want to ask, maybe even the city or.
If you want them here to answer questions.
Perhaps let's drill into this a little bit, so we have a little more history and of what's going on. Not that we doubt anything, maybe it's what bucket we reach into to.
Well, and I would hope that maybe they have a list of ongoing projects that they can kind of give us a heads up before we get to this point.
can you check with them, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So we used to do it 50/50, and then I don't know if we looked at the call volume and split it out 25/75 on capital improvements, because 50% came out of capital improvement, 50% came out of EMS sales tax.
So you're not even talking about the 911 service that we pay?
No, the capital improvements they did the upgrade, replace the phone system to the NG 911 phone system, and then,
So at that point,
that was back in 16.
at
So
that
this
point,
is-
we were still paying 50/50.
Yeah, and then, now I'm trying to find if we had talked about the 18 changes.
Because the 25/75 just changed last year.
Yeah.
Prior to last year, it was a 50/50 split between EMS and sheriff.
I would have thought they would have came to us and said, we're making these changes, and just, heads up, you're gonna get a bill for it. Weirder things have happened. So,
Maybe, I'll find out if there's any other upgrades that they're thinking about. And then I'll also maybe speak to the chief over there about if they're planning any other further projects for upgrade, that we would appreciate that. We're not telling them they can't, but we'd like a phone call about it. I think that's reasonable, and chief's pretty reasonable on that kind of stuff.
so their request is for 73,000, basically covering the last 3 years of upgrades, 18, 19, 20, if I'm reading this right.
I guess the upgrades I think we benefited from.
Well, it benefits the citizens of Cole County.
Well, and it looks like a portion of that is in 2021. The total that will be spent in fiscal year 2021 to complete these projects is $55,225. So there is a portion of it that is included on here that is not complete.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
14,000.
That is the upgrade for that's part of the upgrade for the enterprise side of CAD, which will benefit us.
I think the 73, this, yeah. There's both of those two.
Which would be,
Yeah, this 59 plus that 13 is that 73.
I'll put that back on the agenda whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah. It's okay. Seems like Captain Iceland might have come, but God, that's so long ago. I can't remember what I had for lunch at last Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not-
At the beginning of this meeting.
I'm not finding anything. I just found that stuff from 2016, and that just kind of said how we split stuff before, so,
Captain
okay.
Iceland. Okay. We'll revisit that, because it actually wasn't, I just had received it, so I brought it up, but I didn't read it very well. Do we have anything else before we go into closed session? Okay, you want to make a
I don't
motion?
think so.
I move we go into closed session pursuant to 610.021 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, 610.021, personnel issues.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Harry,
Aye.
Sam,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
You missed the Eric thing. He was reading the newspaper and John told him, hey, you're